Welcome back to the 411 Podcasting Network. I am your host, Larry Csonka, and this is episode 6 of the 411 on Wrestling podcast. I am again joined by a guest this week. Steve Cook is going to join us, but real quick, make sure to follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and YouTube. Leave us a review, share us around on social media. It would be a great help as we look to grow the show. Steve, how are you this week?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, my friend.
That sound
convincing. That sound convincing. Hype! Get hype. Stay hype. Mojo Rawley, remember that guy?
Yeah, we'll actually kind of end up talking about him later in the show.
Is he wrestling Kurt Angle at WrestleMania?
No.
Oh, well, close enough, right?
He might be wrestling the mirror.
There you go.
He's been staring at that mirror for, apparently weeks.
You know, if Sensational Sherry's holding that mirror, I'd be all about it.
Oh, yeah, but it's not. It's just Mojo in the mirror.
That's a shame.
But yeah, we're to kind of do a, kind of like what Jeremy and I did, we're to do a little bit of a news-heavy show and talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on as we build up to WrestleMania, and it just got a lot of stuff going on, Steve, and first of all, we're going to talk about AJ Styles ended up re-signing with WWE, and I think most people expected that to happen.
Yeah.
I think there was some holding out hope that he may want to leave and go to All Elite Wrestling, but apparently, according to the reports, he ended up having no interest in that. So AJ staying with WWE. What do you think?
It's a great move for AJ Styles. I mean, they have treated him like a giant since he came in. They've treated him like a top-notch professional wrestler. He's been WWE champion how many times and for how many days? It's just he's been treated like a king since he got there. Why would he want to leave? And when you watch the Up Down Down channel with Xavier Woods and all these guys, you see the video games AJ Styles has. I don't know if you watch it. Have you ever seen this stuff, Larry? With AJ Styles, the video game collection he has.
Was very happy when they went to Japan.
Yeah,
got a ton of
go over
shit
there and collect various video game systems. The man is at the point in his life where he wants money. He wants to acquire video games. He also wants to acquire a good living condition for his kids, for his family. So there's absolutely no surprise that AJ will be with WWE for life. And I like it. I'm good with all that. I have no issue with that whole situation. I know that some people might be like, oh, well, he could go to All Elite Wrestling and he could work 5-star or 6-star matches or whatever. But no. Give this man his money. He's worked his ass off for goddamn 17 years, Larry? At least that?
Long time, man.
Oh, long fucking time this guy's worked his ass off. He deserves to get paid. And God bless him for doing it. I support 100%.
Yeah, AJ's a guy, and guys like Joe and Daniel Bryan, we talked about those guys years ago, Steve. And, they put together a great portfolio on the independent scene, but there comes to a point when you need to get paid for all that work.
Yep.
And, AJ finally made it to WWE. He left TNA. He had a really strong run with ROH and New Japan. Comes to WWE. And like you said, he's been treated well. And it's a time in his life where you got to weigh your options. Do you want to be an artist and work with your friends and go to AEW and maybe have a ton of freedom? And like you said, maybe he puts on some better matches. But the other thing is,
Meltzer gives him 6 stars. I don't know. Maybe.
But the other thing is if you go to AEW, there's going to be a higher expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and which means AJ is right around 40 or whatever. And do you think he really wants to revert back to, 2006 AJ Styles and killing himself? Or do you want to lock into a nice money deal with a billion-dollar company that's not going anywhere?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and that's the other thing. I want AEW to work, okay? and I talked with Jeremy about this last week. I want it to do well. I want there to be places for the guys to go. I want there to be, because apparently it's causing guys in WWE to get bigger contracts because they don't want people to leave. So if it's going to help get people paid, if it's going to put out another good product, I'm all for it. But again, you have to look at reality. AJ Styles is entering the last part of his career. He's talked about retiring by 42, 43. He's had back issues over the years and stuff. So it's like locking a good money deal with a company that, talk about the cons all you want in their money, but you don't know what they're going to put into AEW, and you don't know what's going to be the line where they cut it off if something goes wrong. Like the Carters never did, unfortunately. And money in and losing money. But, AJ's at a point, he has a wife, he has 4 kids.
Yep.
And, if he can lock in
his
future and their future and his video games, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you gotta fund those trips to Japan to pick up the Atari Jaguar. But God bless him, dude. Here's the other thing, too. Is he happy? And if he's happy, that's all that matters.
He looks happy.
And is his wife and family happy? Again, that's all that matters. So I think
Samoa Joe might argue that Wendy might not be happy. I don't know about all that. Samoa Joe might say different. I don't know. Samoa Joe might be another guy on that WWE retirement plan along with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. I don't know about all the health situation. I don't know how the world works. I don't know.
Yeah. But again, if
I would love to be on the retirement plan too. I'm not going to lie.
But if AJ's happy, his family's happy, he's getting paid good coin. Good on him, okay?
Goddamn good. He has deserved it more than anybody else, honestly, right?
Yeah, then the vast majority.
He's earned it.
Hell yeah. But because there was all those times, it's like you look back at all the shit he's done, and it's like, it's just I just want to see that guy get paid and be set for life.
Yep.
So. But
pay him what he's worth, pay him more than what he's worth, for God's sakes. He deserves it.
Yeah. And it's a smart thing for WWE too. Because not only do you lock in a talent who you can make an argument that AJ's a step slower and he's not as great as he once was.
I would not. I think he's as great as he once was.
I think he's still very good. Plus, you're making sure he doesn't go anywhere else where anybody else can make money. And, there's a reason that Vince and WWE are number one and will stay number one. It's because they make decisions like that. So you lock in AJ Styles.
I'm going to say that AJ is not good as he once was, but he's as once good as he ever was. Is that how that goes?
Something like that. No,
I'm not good as he once was.
I think
good.
AJ's still great.
Yeah.
But I will
great.
say,
he really is.
Yeah, well, he's great. He's also a much smarter worker now. But
he really is.
But you can't deny the fact that he's lost a step or so over the last 2 to 3 years. It's nothing that takes away, but there's just not, I guess, a certain snap or crispness in his work that used to be there, and that's just getting older. It's not like he's falling apart.
He's not falling apart. I think Styles and Orton could steal the show here at WrestleMania.
Well, I think that depends on how motivated Randall is.
I think Randall is motivated. I think he really is.
I hope so, because I'm a little hit and miss with Randall at times.
Yeah, I think Randall is a little pissed off. I think Randall is seeing how much more push AJ Styles is amongst our people. I think it'll be an interesting match.
I hope it's a great match. I want it to be. I don't want there to be shit on Mania.
And I think Orton will win too. What I'm saying.
Very likely too.
It's what it will do because whenever it's WWE versus somebody else, WWE wins.
That's right.
And this whole feud is built on WWE versus the Indies. So WWE's gonna win. That's right. when Randall Orton pins AJ Styles, don't get mad at us. Don't get mad at us.
Yeah, the war is still real to Vince.
The Triple H and Sting match. Oh God. That was the main example of that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? It's like there was a news article today about how even if Sting would get neck surgery, he likely would never be cleared for a match. I'm still really annoyed that they did that fucking Triple H match and that they didn't do the fucking easy go, Undertaker match.
You know what? Goddamn. You know. And I said this when I saw it reported. I saw the headlines about it. Well, Sting would still wrestle if she wanted to wrestle the Undertaker. If he could face the Undertaker, he'd still wrestle. And I know that goddamn that sweet salty blood money would be out in full force for Sting versus the Undertaker. That's gonna be main event. That'll be main event for the Saudi shows. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that right now.
I'll tell you what, man. If that happens, I mean, full credit to you. But yeah, the sweet Saudi money will be out there.
I'm not watching Saudi Arabian shows. By the way, I don't watch those shows. Fuck them. That's what I say about that. I'm being a little political here. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey,
I'm not watching the shows.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see who goes. Because Cena and Bryan didn't go last time.
Yeah,
apparently Roman Reigns wasn't going to go.
Is that how he caught the cancer?
I don't know.
You know what Dave Meltzer said? I don't know.
I
don't know. I don't know about all that. I don't know.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who goes because, like, Sammy can't go.
No, Sammy cannot go.
And there's some others.
He doesn't want to go.
Oh yeah, he doesn't want to go, but he can't go. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see who goes, and I'm sure whenever they finally announce Sweet Saudi Money 3, we'll talk about that. And
fuck those motherfuckers. Can I say? I already said that. I guess. Yeah.
We're not like regular radio. You can say whatever the hell you want.
Fuck those motherfuckers. Yeah,
that's right.
How WWE's making most money these days. All that sweet Saudi blood money.
I always like how everybody gets mad at me when I call it sweet Saudi money or whatever.
It is like, what it is.
So you'd rather punish the fans in Saudi Arabia and not let them have the show?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's whatever. But anyway, we kind of mentioned how we don't want shit on the WrestleMania card, but we're getting it. Because Kurt Angle is going to face Baron Corbin of all people, and pretty much everybody shit on.
Yeah, as well they should have, quite frankly. Terrible bullshit, quite frankly.
Now, the thing is like, from a storyline perspective, it makes sense for them to have a match at some point.
From a storyline perspective, it does make sense.
But here's the thing. Yeah. This is going to be Kurt's apparent last match in WWE.
Yep.
And you're going to send him out there with the fucking, the spirit dude from fucking like Shenanigans and Waiting or TGI Fridays.
Yeah, TGI Fridays, Applebee's, wherever you want to say. That local restaurant you hang out at.
And it's just, and again, here's the thing. Despite what people like Edge will tell you, and listen, I'm sorry, Edge lost a lot of credit with me for two things. I watch NXT and I don't get the big deal with this Asuka chick. I don't think she's that good. And then a year later, the motherfucker turned around and was like, Jinder's a good heel and champion. No, fuck you, Edge. Listen, I understand that you got to suck on the Tina McMahon so your wife can get a return run here. But have a little dignity, okay? I'm sorry. Yeah. Baron Corbin, not a good professional wrestler in any way. And there's people like, you're just not giving him a chance because you didn't like him as GM because here's their defense. He did too good a job as a heel. No, he tanked the ratings. He was all over the show. He was horrible. He can't talk.
Yeah,
fucking Watcher wrote a column about it, tried to say that people tend to forget that Baron Corbin had a huge following in NXT. No, he didn't.
With who? With who?
He did not have a big following. And the other defense in this column was that, oh, everybody wants the vet to put over a young up-and-comer on the way out. Problem because of Baron Corbin. Yes, we want Kurt to put someone over if that's the plan. But if you're going to put someone over that's, I don't know, good?
Good? My wrestling.
It has a future? Baron Corbin's biggest talent is apparently he's tall.
He's tall. He's tall, so he could be the next Undertaker. He's going to be the next Kane, for God's sakes. I mean,
he's not good. I'm sorry. There's people,
I wish he was. I wish he was good.
Well, fuck, I wish he was good because he's on TV so much.
Exactly.
There are people that are really good at professional wrestling. There are people that are fine at professional wrestling. And there are people that are plain bad at it. And he's one of the guys that's bad. The other excuse I see is that, what do you expect? Kurt's old and busted up. He's not going to have a good match anyway. Listen, okay, here's the thing. He is old. He is busted up. You have to look at Kurt's career. All those years training for the Olympics, the broken neck, the basic wear and tear from Olympic-level training. Then he transitioned to professional wrestling. Then he had alcohol and substance abuse problems, which further broke his body down. Then he continued to have neck issues. So, yes, Kurt is not prime Kurt fucking Angle. Yeah. But you're telling me that if you put Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin in the ring, that it's going to be as good as Kurt Angle and, say, Finn Balor?
Anybody. You can throw anybody on there. Finn Balor, you can throw fucking, anybody on that whole situation.
And I'm not saying that like Finn's the guy to do it, but what I'm saying is, if you're gonna put on this last match and you're trying to make a big deal out of it, my goal would be to make Kurt look as good as possible, so that when you look back, you can go, Kurt Angle had a great retirement match, so that when he's doing whatever network special he does, he can look back on his last match and go, I was really happy with that.
Like when Ric Flair wrestled Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And Kurt versus Cena might not be great, but I'd like to think that they know each other well enough and it's like a full circle moment because Cena debuted.
I think it'd work better, yeah.
Yeah. Kurt Angle versus Joe would have worked because you play the Americana U.S. title angle, plus the fact
they know each other forever back in those TNA days we can't talk about. Yeah.
But
we talk about those? Yeah.
Of course. But I'm just very disappointed with the Baron Corbin thing. I'm sorry. He's not good.
It's a bad situation. It is a bad situation. I don't know. And I know some people still hoping that John Cena jumps Baron Corbin at WrestleMania and takes that position at WrestleMania because he's full of ruthless aggression.
Or, even you can still do the Cena thing, but I'd love for the fact that they rang the bell and Angle just fucking dumped him on his head with a German and tapped him out in like 10 seconds. And then Cena comes out, or you can have Angle get on the mic and say, I was hoping for a little bit more in my last match. I don't want it to be over. And
so it'd be like when Drew Gulak showed up on NXT and faced what the hell's like a Hoostergagen? Who was that guy? Huh?
Matt Riddle?
No, the guy before him. Drew Gulak beat a guy before him like Hoostergaten or whatever the fuck his name was.
Oh,
and Drew Gulak was like, you know what? I expected a little bit more from NXT. And then Matt Riddle came out, and then we had a fucking fantastic match. That's what I'm saying. Maybe we get a little something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and that would work too, because it's just, again, you're coming full circle with the way Cena debuted and, the match with Angle and everything. But yeah, I'm not expecting a lot out of it, no matter what it ends up being.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's good enough that Kurt's happy with it.
I'm not sure Kurt was happy with Baron Corbin, quite honestly, based on what I saw on Twitter with people, with what he tweeted and what other people would tweet. I don't know.
Yeah. But I want him to go out happy because you can tell that, like, like Jeremy and I talked about this. Like last year at Mania, he does the match with Triple H, Steph, and Ronda, and he looked good.
Yeah,
and then he did some part-time stuff, and at that point, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If they're going to use Kurt 4 or 5 times a year, you can still get a couple years out of him for some big matches. And then as the year went on, unfortunately, Kurt is very willing. He still wants to work, but his body's just breaking down.
Yeah.
So honestly, the company's making a smart move, doing the retirement thing. I know a lot of people are upset about that, but again, WWE is a publicly traded company. You can't have a fucking Olympian breaking his neck or dying in the goddamn ring.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Sorry,
But the whole thing is just against Baron Corbin. It's what a lot of people have a problem with.
Yeah.
And what I have a problem with, quite frankly, I just don't see. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I know there are some other people that are getting pulled from live events with WWE.
Well, hang on. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. But Kurt Angle is actually going to make an appearance on SmackDown this week, Steve.
Oh, really?
And he is going to face an old TNA opponent in AJ Styles.
There we go. You know what? That's what I've been saying.
Yeah. Kurt has gone on record several times saying that he feels AJ is one of the very best that not only is he worked with and one of his favorites, but he thinks that AJ is one of the best of all time.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I agree with him. I agree with the man.
So the
AJ
fact
Styles
that
is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I'm not going to disagree with the man. Yeah.
That's right. So the fact that he's going to go ahead and get one more run with AJ on SmackDown is pretty.
One last match with AJ. And, yeah.
And,
is that this week on SmackDown?
Yes, that's Tuesday.
I will make sure to tune in for that.
The only negative reaction I saw to this, and I think is a fair point to talk about. I don't think that the AJ match is bad, but a lot of people brought up the fact that we've seen Kurt and AJ a lot, and while it makes sense, why isn't WWE taking time, even if it's like a 10-minute match, to do Kurt and Daniel Bryan?
That's a very, 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 very fair point. Because that's a dream match, I would say.
Yeah, and
a lot of people back in the day, Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, or whatever you want to say, versus Kurt Angle, that's a dream match. It really is.
Yeah, and that's a match people wanted for years, and that's reportedly what when Paul Heyman back in the day was in talks to possibly take over creative in TNA, and one of his ideas was to sign Daniel Bryan and basically have him run through the fucking roster like a berserker and setting up like the big match with Kurt Angle that he also saw as a dream match. Now again, it is a dream match, and it's a fair point to anybody that wants to see the match. And I wanted to see the match, but you're also risking a disappointment factor. And when you look at Kurt and AJ, you look at Kurt and AJ, they worked enough together that again, even if it's 8 to 10 minutes, I think that they can pull enough out of the bag from their past matches to at least make it enjoyable. And I think that's what they're looking for, because the other thing is too is that AJ, I mean, not that Daniel Bryan wouldn't, but AJ is going to take care of Kurt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but
well, you know what? This is, and I know you'll agree with me on this. This is kind of the failure, this whole Kurt Angle retirement run, is that we decided it's going to happen 28 days before WrestleMania. Because we could have had all these matches with AJ Styles and with Kurt Angle. We could have had Angle face Daniel Bryan. We could have had Angle face Samoa Joe. We could have had a whole lot of retirement matches if we didn't decide this a month in advance. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
We could have had a lot of these great matches that could have happened. We could have had, and you could even give Angle time off between these matches. Where you could have had, you could have built up to these, like main events on Raw or SmackDown or whatever, where Angle could face AJ Styles on main event of SmackDown. Or he could face Daniel Bryan on main event SmackDown. He could face Samoa Joe on SmackDown. He could face Roman Reigns on Raw. He could face Seth Rollins on Raw. You could have him go against all these great guys. You could have built this up for over many, many weeks, and it would have worked. But now it's just like, we're just gonna fucking, whatever.
Yeah, and that's where
They
I think
screwed the pooch on this, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah, so many great matches with that Kurt Angle here. Maybe not great matches, but like matches people would want to see these matches.
Yeah, the thing is like Kurt and Daniel Bryan in 2019 might not be great. It may not even be that good.
People would buy it. People want to see it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I wanted to see it. You know why? Because I look at it and I go, you know what? Kurt goes in there for 10 minutes with Daniel Bryan. And maybe, just maybe for that 10 minutes, he pulls some magic out of the hat. Because, like, you brought up Flair and Michaels. I fucking love the Flair-Michaels match. I love that son of a bitch. And the thing is not only does Shawn take care of Rick, he works a very heavily influenced Ric Flair match.
He does.
But Shawn does his best to try to bring us Ric Flair for one more fucking night.
Yep.
He did everything in his power, even though that he wasn't prime 1995, 96 Shawn Michaels. He was still smart enough and knew enough to give us what we wanted. And I love that match.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things that, like, you do that match and you do the retirement, and it's like, it was so good. And now on it, brother needs to make $1, and apparently Rick was broke and needed to work TNA. And we did get the great Jay Lethal segment out of it.
That was great. That was absolutely great.
I was watching that the other day. I was watching a video and it came up next, and I was like,
There goes her and Black Machismo, Jay Lethal, and David Starr. Oh boy, there's another ball wax there.
But yeah, he was as close as he was going to be to Ric Flair for one more night.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that it would have been like an epic with Kurt and Bryan, but maybe just for
throw
one
it out
night.
there and see what happens. Yeah.
Exactly. I was curious. I wanted to see. That's why, people were always like, because like, I'm not the biggest fan of Cody in the ring sometimes, because I think he brings the circus to town way too much.
He does.
And I think it takes away. I think it takes
the Rhodes family likes to do that.
Yeah, but I think it
Cody
takes
does.
away.
They like to bring the circus to town. They do.
Yeah, but more often than not, for me, it takes away rather than adds to a match. Yeah. And then, like, I talked about how last year I was kind of disappointed because he wasn't in the G1 again. And someone's like, well, you shit on half his matches. Why do you want him in the G1? I'm like, yeah.
Because it might have been interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is like, I may not like some of his matches when he does that shit, but I wanted to see Cody in the G1. I want to see Cody and Okada, I've seen that, but I want to see Cody and Tanahashi, Cody and Ishii. I gotta know. Yeah. I gotta know if Cody can work that schedule, and if he can put on those matches with those guys. It's a curiosity factor for me.
Damn right.
And the thing is like, because when he doesn't rely on the theatrics as much, he's had some really quality stuff.
Really
Last year, when they were building up to the they were doing the whole Elite stuff with Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega.
Sure.
Stuff. They had some really great stuff on the Honor United tour that I loved. And that was Cody doing story-heavy stuff, but he wasn't bringing the circus to town. He wasn't bringing Brandy out. They were doing just a ton of good storytelling and wrestling, and I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Cody knows what he's doing there, too. He's
and that's the other thing. People say, like, I'm always down on him. I have never once said anything bad about him as a businessman.
He knows what he's doing.
That fucker has been smart. Again, I've said it numerous times. When he got his release and he did that list gimmick, he got a ton of publicity.
Oh, God,
And then he made all kind of deals with promoters. Like when he would work California, he would work a 2 or 3 day swing. He would work a deal, knock his booking price down because they would all go in and pay for his travel. And he picked up a shit ton of bookings.
Smart man. Smart man.
He wasn't like Ryback trying to charge like $5,000. And Ryback's worked like 30 matches since he left WWE.
That's more than I would have expected, quite frankly.
He's done more podcasting than wrestling matches, and that's not even a joke.
I'm sure it's true. I'm sure it's true.
But speaking of Cody and possible all elite wrestling stuff,
Yeah.
Started to talk about this earlier. Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson have obviously the news was out. They reportedly turned down a contract renewal with WWE, and apparently they have been taken off live events going forward, Steve.
Yeah, taking off live events going forward. Feeling speculation might be other way. The company, they turned out a 5-year contract extension. Wow, that been a long extension. 5 years sounds long, right?
Yeah, it does.
And they're waiting to see the lesson. I don't know. I am a big a fan of Karl Anderson as there is, because I saw that man main event at Flea Market when I was that I saw Karl Anderson main event at Flea Market in Florence, Kentucky back in the day. I told you about that, right?
That's right. I do remember this.
You remember this. I saw this man main event Flea Market. Now he became the main guy with New Japan, Luke Gallows, a lot of stuff going on. I always thought, I hate to say this, they got signed because of AJ Styles, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they got signed because of AJ Styles. And once they signed AJ Styles, they had no plans for these guys going forward, pretty much, right?
Right.
So they can go wherever they want to go at this point, is what I see going on. That's why I see. I mean, they're not the club anymore. They're not the Balor Club. They're just guys kind of hanging on. And I'm not hating on these guys. I think Gallows and Anderson, I think they're great workers. But they're tag team guys. We all know how tag teams fare in WWE. It's like, I don't know. Tag team, Yeah, I'm not surprised by any of this, quite frankly. I'm just not surprised. I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. I'm honestly just, I'm disappointed because it's like, my thing is like, yeah, even if he signed him because of his AJ, you were trying to get. The thing is you had him there. They had history with AJ. They had history with Balor. And then you just pretty much opted to do dick with them.
They could have been the club. They could have been the Balor Club. But no, you just like, yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. They didn't care. They did not care. So I hope that these guys get out of their contracts, and I hope they get signed by AEW, whoever. I hope they get some money.
Yeah, that's
they're good guys. I like both those guys.
Yeah, I hope
they get a lot of money.
I hope that whatever decision they make, they end up being happy, and again, hope they get paid. I'm a little surprised that Karl at his age is thinking about walking away, because
That's a fair point. Fair point.
Just for the job security thing, like we talked about with AJ.
With AJ,
and he has several kids and a hot Asian wife.
With a hot Asian wife. Let's not.
Someone got mad when I wrote that once in a news story. I'm like, he talks about it all the time.
Yeah, Karl would agree with you on that. Karl would say he's got a hot Asian wife. So no, there's no reason to disagree with that.
He's just a good brother putting his wife over.
Damn right.
But again, to me, it comes down to happiness. Now, maybe Karl has made more money than I know about, and maybe and maybe it's an artistic thing. Maybe he and Gallows are like, you know what? Fuck it, we're not being used. Our boys are over here telling us that, we'll get some freedom and we'll get some run, and maybe they make the jump. And again, if they're happy and they're making the money they're happy with, it's all that matters to me. I think that I look at it as a lost opportunity for WWE.
It is. It really is.
Because I think you missed out on you could have done a Styles Balor program with those guys kind of in the middle.
Seriously, I mean, how? Yeah, that's the main question right there. Like, how do you miss out on? You had a Styles Balor match at that one forgotten pay-per-view back in the day, and those guys were torn between AJ and between Finn, so you could have worked that. You could have worked that for what it was worth, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it because I don't know why they didn't do it.
I think it kind of goes back to your point, though, that, once they had him in and they had AJ locked up, it was like, they're live event bodies now.
Maybe so. It might have been.
I'm never going to say that they were there were times where they showed greatness, but they were not an overall great tag team. They had times to where they had some lackluster matches. Yeah. But again, I think that just WWE's overall look at tag team wrestling and the fact that they didn't utilize these guys, again, missed opportunity that, you could have done more instead of just having them be random dudes that popped up, bitching about being stuck in catering and then got a couple weeks on TV.
You know how many great tag teams that WWE has? Like, I mean, these guys, the Revival, the New Day, the Usos.
How funny is it that right now? Am I right? Hang on. How funny is it right now that Sawyer Fulton, the former Sanity member, is getting more TV time than the rest of Sanity?
Where's Eric Young? Is Eric Young going to win his production program? Where is he at? I don't know.
I saw a photo last night. Him and Dane were working a tag match at a live event, but yeah.
Oh, was it a live event down fucking Poughkeepsie, Florida?
I don't know. I would say they were working the coconut loop for NXT, but fuck, at least they'd be working.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ. Terrible.
But kind of sticking with the AEW stuff.
I hope Carl gets paid, so I'm saying. God bless.
I do too.
Get paid where you want to go.
The good brother got shape and got abs too.
They're good guys. Pay the man. Pay him. Wherever they go. Yeah.
But sticking with the All Elite Wrestling stuff, apparently Jim Ross revealed this week that he's had talks with the company.
Good old JR. Ball and shoe ugly if you will, Daddy. Yeah.
I hope the fuck that they don't hire him.
Well, I mean, he was the talent relations person during the best period in WWE history, right?
Well, here's the thing, though. Do you really need a talent relations guru when, Cody and the Bucks, Kenny Omega they're hunting the indies and they're bringing their friends in and stuff. It's like, do you really need a Jim Ross in that role in 2019?
No, probably not.
Because, if you look at his commentary on the New Japan stuff, first of all, it's horrible. Second of all, he doesn't know who half the fucking guys are. Like, there's, ROH guys, and he's always talking about, he watches ROH TV, and then, SoCal Uncensored comes out, and he's like, look at this youngster in the front. And it's like, it's Christopher Daniels, Jim. He's almost as old as you.
Yeah, Christopher Daniels is as old as Jim Ross. For God's sakes.
And I'm not dogging on Christopher Daniels.
No, we're not.
That motherfucker found him out in the East somewhere. Because I don't know how he... I don't know how he was still working the last couple of years at the level he was working at.
Daniel's a fantastic man. I will say right now that since I followed Tracy Brooks on Twitter, happy birthday, Christopher Daniels. It's his birthday. He's got to be 55 years old or something, for God's sakes. An old man.
Do you remember the Joe and Punk shoot interview when they were talking about Daniels?
Oh, yeah. OMD.
Wrestling school, he forgot his sandals.
Daniels. He was wrestling. He had the sandals when he's training us. OMD. Ugh. Because Daniels did a lot of favors to a lot of these guys in that time period, whether it was Joe and Punk, whether it was AJ Styles, and those guys. Daniels did a lot of favors to those guys.
Well, the other thing, too, is a lot of people don't don't understand or don't know about is that
Yeah.
Daniels is really the guy that you should give credit for AJ Styles getting signed to TNA.
Oh, really? Yes, he is.
They worked the NWA anniversary show.
Yes.
They had been working around the country,
yes.
and Jarrett and Bob Ryder were there, and
Yeah,
they had remembered AJ from WCW, and then they saw him work Daniels and were like, "Holy shit!"
Because Daniels put that guy over like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's one of those things. I mean, and Christopher Daniels, we wish him a happy birthday. He made this whole generation, didn't he? Punk, Joe, Daniels.
In a way, he helped so many of those guys out. And you were bringing up like the stories and stuff. And on this interview we're talking about is Samoa Joe and CM Punk. They were talking about just about how giving Daniels was.
He would get them to shows, pretty much.
Yeah, well, Joe talked about there was a time he was stranded because his plane got canceled.
Yeah.
And he called up Daniels, and Daniels, they used to have this gimmick back in the day. It was like a book that had like all the flights listed around the country. Yeah. And Daniels fucking found him a flight and then paid for it with his own credit card.
He did, because he knew Joe got over there.
Yeah. And it's just, you hear stuff like that, and it's just like, he's a good dude, a great wrestler. I still think that what still pisses me off is there was a time late in his TNA run where they had a perfect chance to put the title on him.
Yeah.
And it was when they were going to England because Jeff Hardy couldn't go. Yeah. And they built up a really strong angle. He challenged for the title and ended up losing. And then there was like 5 weeks of TV without a champion because Jeff couldn't go to the UK. And I'm sitting there thinking, it would have been a transitional run. Yeah. You could have had him lose it right back. But the fact is, that was a dude that he always got fucking boned in TNA. When he was supposed to get that big push versus Sting. And Sting was cool with putting him over.
Sting would have been fine with that, yeah.
And then they go to them before the match and they tell Sting, 9 minutes, you're going over clean with your finish. And Sting was like, but I thought Daniels was, and they're like, no, we changed our mind.
No. Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah, I always hated that, but Christopher Daniels, good dude, but I don't fucking Jim Ross. And don't get me wrong, I used to love Jim Ross.
We all did. We all loved Jim Ross.
Prime Jim Ross is one of, if not the greatest announcers of all time.
I would say that Prime Jim Ross was the greatest announcer of all time. I'll say it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, it's just because there was no one that not only sold the big moment, but just little things like going off the air, the go-home show for a pay-per-view. And Jim Ross was fired the fuck up,
Yep.
And it made you like, God damn, I can't wait for Sunday.
That's right.
And now you got Michael Cole going, make sure to join us Sunday night when the big dog and the boss are in action.
And we should be like, fuck you.
You know what? I've actually been forgiving with the big dog thing because Roman got better. I'll accept the big dog thing, but I can absolutely not stand it's boss time.
Yeah. Oh god, it's boss time.
But I'll accept the big dog because Roman got better, and that made me happy. But here's the thing, I have to live up to that because I wrote it when I wrote a column about Roman when the diagnosis came out. I even said that I would put up with Michael Cole doing the big dog gimmick 20 times a show if Roman got help. So I will stick to that. But the rest of it's fucking earpiece drivel bullshit. Just drives me insane.
I don't even know what to say about all that. I don't know what to say, quite frankly.
I'm all for Jim Ross finding work, but not with companies I have to watch all the time.
Pretty much. It's like, oh god. Good old JR. I don't know.
I would much rather see, Excalibur get the shot with someone else maybe because that dude's entertaining, and I think it's, we talk about it's nice to see guys get a shot eventually, and I feel like that he worked all in. He's worked a couple Japan tours now, and I think it might be the time for him to start breaking out. And I think that's good for him because he's fucking entertaining.
Damn right. About time for Excalibur. And we see it's about time that WWE has moved its global headquarters to a new location in Stamford, Connecticut. Oh, Titan Towers getting moved aside for a new location. Do you know anything about this, Larry?
Yeah, what's funny is there's a lot of people like, well, I don't see why this is such big news. It's like, the Titan Towers has been the home of the company forever. I mean, it's just it's a big move for them. But apparently, the big thing is they're leasing a new space that's going to allow them to have everything together. Because right now, production is off-site for things, and basically they're going to be putting everything in the one big structure, and it's going to be much easier for everybody to work on projects and everything. And it's just it's a sign of the times that like the company is still growing, it's still getting bigger.
Yeah, don't worry about
$1
that.
billion
Guys.
TV deals.
Still getting bigger. Still getting bigger.
So I mean, it makes sense, and it is kind of like it feels like a weird move just for the fact that they're moving out of the home that most of us knew is just the company's home forever.
Titan Towers.
Which is funny.
Titan Towers.
Yeah, it's a funny name because it's not exactly a tower. It looks more like a box. It's not overly tall. But like, Vince can't call it like the Titan box. But he has that giant T-Rex skull on his wall, so.
He might mean to Titan box, I don't know. But I also know that I'm a Louisville guy, Larry Csonka.
You are.
I'm a Louisville guy. I went to the University of Louisville. I was down there back in the day when the Ohio Valley Wrestling was a big deal. Remember Ohio Valley Wrestling? Remember that?
I do. I used to get the videos.
It's a big thing back in the day when I first came down there. And it did not become a big thing. But I know that Impact Wrestling, your promotion, that they've entered an agreement to have Ohio Valley Wrestling be a official development and training territory for promotion with Al Snow. Al Snow is a guy that has been there for years. Gonna train these guys. Gonna do some things. So Larry Csonka, how do you feel about that?
I think it's smart. They had a relationship with them years ago, but it got dropped because basically Danny Davis fucking wanted paid and Dixie Carter couldn't pay him.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he basically
there you go.
Because like they had guys like Jesse Goddard and some other people.
They're like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. But like guys like Jesse Goddard and stuff when he was getting in, and some others worked out in OVW, and just it was going to be their developmental. Which if you're going to try
to the United Kingdom,
yeah, but it's just like if you're going to try to actually develop your own talent and not just sign people off the scene, you need something. And OVW, even though it's under different ownership, has a proven track record.
Yep.
So, and you can, and the thing is you can you can not like Al Snow all you want, but I mean, I don't like the rest
permission not like Al Snow. Okay.
But I mean, Al's apparently, I don't know, I've heard people say he's a pretty good trainer.
That's what they say.
That's what I've heard.
Everyone will tell you. The Beast Dan Severn will tell you Al Snow's a pretty good trainer.
There you go.
There you go.
It'll be interesting to see, because I know they did like a one night only show with OVW recently. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see who they try to pick up and who they send there, and if it's actually going to work out this time. Hopefully the money thing doesn't get in the way, but
yeah,
I am all for any time you're trying to develop talent, improve talent. And the other thing is, if you have guys locked into even like part-time contracts and can't get them on TV all the time, go with the OVW shows, get some fucking ring time in.
Please get
send the goddamn Desi Hit Squad there for about 5 years.
For 5 years. preferably.
At least.
Yeah, exactly. At least 5 years. But Larry Csonka, I know you're a big fan of Ohio Valley Wrestling, as far as all that stuff goes. And I did a little column for the chairshot.com on various wrestling tournaments. What is your favorite wrestling tournament of all time? And you go to Japan, you go wherever you want. Like, what's your favorite wrestling tournament of all time?
It's probably one of the G1s within the last 4 years, honestly, just because, now again, the story is involved and everything too, but over the last 4 years, there's just been an insane collection of great wrestling within that, month's time.
There has.
The last 4 years or so, and I enjoy the shit out of the G1s. New Japan Cup was really good this year. I was not all time great or anything, but I thought it was really strong tournament, expanded field, guys like Colt Cabana getting a shot and doing well.
If he had won, I would say, I'd say Colt. I love Colt Cabana. I do.
Yeah. And I was happy for Colt because, he's worked a lot in Japan, but he hasn't got to work New Japan.
Yeah.
So, he finally got in there with the ROH relationship, and he did well for himself, got over. The crowds fucking loved him and Yano because they did a bunch of tag matches and stuff as they built to their match.
Oh.
And just, it was fun. It's not a great match or anything, but it was fun. And Colt got over, and it's stuff like that. It was interesting to see the former WWE talent Mikey Nichols over there. New member of Chaos, and he looked pretty good overall. And it'll be interesting to see how they're going to use and push him going forward. But he got a shot, and I enjoy stuff like that. Everybody's like, well, I don't know about expanding it to 32. It's going to feel long and blah, blah, blah. Well, the thing is it didn't really feel long because after the first 2 days, all they were doing were 2 matches a day. And that was under an hour. So it's you can pop in and just watch the tournament matches. That's like the G1 shows I tell everybody. It's listen, the undercards do a nice job of setting up the tournament matches for the next show. But you don't have to watch them. There are a bunch of big tag matches. If you're going to watch G1, I always say you watch the 4 or 5 G1 matches a night because that's enough time. You're going to put in 2 hours there. You don't need to do another hour and a half to watch tag matches and feel burnt out unless, you have to do it for work. And even I don't watch all of them. It's just I focus on the G1 stuff because that's what the people want to read about during that season.
That's right.
Yeah, wrestling tournaments are a ton of fun. I try to check out Battle of Los Angeles when I can. I still try to check out King of Trios when I can from Car and stuff.
I wish I had included King of Trios tournament because those are fucking fantastic.
What's always fun about King of Trios is when you just some of the teams they put together.
Yeah.
They put together the other year they did Mickey James and Victoria and Jazz. They did team Attitude Era or whatever, but and that was right before Mickey James got re-signed by the company and had an Asuka match, and she was really good that weekend. And I had noted that if Impact or WWE doesn't try to pick her back up, I'm it's a mistake. She looks fantastic.
She's going pretty soon,
and it's just, but it's just I always it's always kind of cool to see what outside teams they bring in. Last couple years they did the some of the Joshi teams, and they had British Strong Style. And it's a weird yet really fun collection of talent every year, and it's just one of those things that it's fun, especially if you like tag team wrestling.
Which we do.
Exactly.
We like it. Whether other people do or not, we don't know, but we don't care.
Well, a lot of that is me growing up on the NWA product, man.
Yeah,
because,
the Crockett Cup.
Yeah, the Crockett Cup, but watching because there was a late night syndicated I always watched. It came on at 11:30, and it's just shit watching the Rock and Rolls versus Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez.
Oh yeah.
Just stuff like that. And I remember when the fucking sheep herders were brought in.
Yeah.
And, they were supposed to have a match with the Rock and Rolls, and it ended up in a big schmoz and DQ. And at first I remember looking at these dudes, I'm like, it's not like the Rock and Rolls were giants, but like, look at these little short motherfuckers, But like, you have to remember, this wasn't the Bushwhackers. This was the fucking sheep herders. These bastards were doing blood feuds with like the Fantastics and shit.
They were. Yeah.
And they were just like assaulting the goddamn Rock and Roll Express. And
God.
Oh, good stuff. But yeah, it's just grew up on the tag team stuff. Arn and Tully, Arn and Ole, just all that. I watched so much of that stuff, and I think that's really why, like, when I started watching WWF, that it was like I gravitated to like the Bulldogs and the Hart Foundation stuff, just because I like the tag team stuff. Like, I've always said this, and everybody thinks it's like a trying to be too cool for school thing, but I was never a big Hogan guy. I watched the NWA.
Why would you be?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is like Ric Flair to me was, even before he came there, he was the real world champion to me. He had the big gold belt, and it was a personal preference thing. But yeah, man, it's just So again, King of Trios is something that, if you really like tag wrestling, can be a lot of fun if you never watched it. I recommend that. Battle of Los Angeles, you're going to see great wrestling, and you're also going to see a lot of the guys that, if you don't know a lot of the guys they're probably the next guys to get tournament
made into WWE later on.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But these are the guys made in there. Yeah, if you don't know them now, you're going to start noticing them couple years.
You'll see them in WWE or NXT or what the fuck ever. Yeah.
I mean, pretty much it's like, it's like, Jungle Boy was working the California Indies. He got his PWG shot, and then AEW snatched him up right away because there was word that WWE was looking into him. But yeah, it's just PWG is one of those places that, again, if you don't know someone, you're probably going to in a couple years.
Yep.
And that's going to be one of the legacies of that company, I think.
It really is, because it's the weird thing with PWG is that they were smart enough to figure out that we can't book these guys all the time, but we can book these guys some of the time, and we can book these guys on pay-per-view or DVD or whatever. They book these guys when they can. And when they don't, it's a weird situation. Can I say it? A weird situation. And when they book them, they can. And that's weird.
I have the AAF in the background, Steve Cook, and Jonathan Manziel is checked into the game.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he ended up running on first down, picked up about 5.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he probably would have. Yeah.
I was waiting. I'm like, if this dude throws an interception and gets sacked on the first play, I'm just gonna start laughing so hard. But
oh gosh.
To kind of close up things, Steve, had a big retirement news today.
Yeah,
which
we did.
Does have something to do slightly with wrestling.
Yeah,
New England Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement today.
I'm just saying, if he booked his retirement on April 20th or on June 9th, it would have been more fitting with 420 or 69, am I right? Yeah?
For Gronk, yeah, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, it would have been more fitting. That's all I'm saying about that. I don't know. But that man, he is a fantastic tight end when he is in his prime, when he's working the business. And I would say that he could be a future professional wrestler. I'm not going to lie.
There's lots of rumors that he's been, he's friends with Mojo Rawley. And
that could help. Yeah, Mojo's been doing a lot of things lately.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of talk that he could do maybe action movies or think about a career in wrestling. So
I could see him doing action movies, honestly.
Yeah, kind of like he could kind of be like a Howie Long.
Oh yeah, I could.
Because
Howie Long doing NFL Fox Sunday?
Yeah, but he used to do some small parts and action stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in like Broken Arrow with John Travolta and Christian Slater and some other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because he looks like, for lack of a better term with the haircut and everything, he looks like a meathead Marine.
He does.
So I mean, so he got some decent bit roles and stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting because I know WWE really wanted him to do something with Mojo, and they did
with
that.
Mojo and with Pat McAfee. Oh, Pat McAfee, that fucking guy. You big Pat McAfee guy? I'm not.
No, I think he's no good.
He can fuck off, as far as I'm concerned. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think I didn't even really like him when he appeared on like regular sports radio.
No, but he wants to be on WWE Sports Radio. He wants to be in WWE, and we got all these guys coming like, "Oh, Pat McAfee's a good guy." No, he's not. Fuck off.
Yeah, I always like the flavor of the month thing, because he comes in and all of a sudden there's these guys like, he's been so good on the NXT pre-shows.
No, he hasn't. He's been fucking terrible. I mean, Sam
pretty much
Roberts was better than he was, for God's sakes. Come on now. I would rather watch Sam Roberts on his shows. God damn.
The thing that kills me is like when you have Sam Roberts and Pete Rosenberg together.
Oh, God.
It's like, that is like such a corner douche at the table.
Ugh. It's like Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, for God's sakes. Are you kidding me?
I try not to watch the talking segments of the pre-shows.
No, there's no reason
to. Just generally bad.
It really is. I think they want it to be bad because they want everybody to think that everybody talks about wrestling has to be full of shit and out of their fucking ass, right? I guess, man. They want those people to think that we all don't know what we're talking about. Like, we all sound like Pat McAfee, like, oh, whoa, I want to rape a 12-year-old, that kind of thing. I always love when it was one of the panels, Samoa Joe came out, and I thought he was going to commit homicide on Sam Roberts. Just he was like staring him down. Always a good time.
Yeah, and he was like, "Why would you ask such a stupid question?" And Sam was like, Samoa Joe's so. Why don't you just agree? Samoa Joe's so fucking fantastic. He is. Oh my God. I said before, dude, if you could take what Joe has blossomed into as a promo guy now, and put it into that ROH title run. Seriously, he would have been a fucking main event guy forever. I know. Forever. But yeah, it's Joe just again a great guy. But yeah, do you think in the next year Rob Gronkowski works an angle or a match for WWE, Steve? Oh yeah. Yeah, he does. He does. At one point or another with somebody or something. I think he does something. Maybe by SummerSlam. It'll be interesting to see if they just try to use him as a name or if they actually try to use him to get fucking Mojo over. No, I don't think they will. Well, I think they've already given up on the Joe at this point. I think they've already still. I think the ship has sailed at that point. I'm sure Mojo's a really nice guy and all, but I don't hate the guy. I don't hate the guy at all. I don't think the ship has sailed there. I think the ship has sailed on Mojo Rally, and I think that they'll use Gronk on something. I don't know what. What's something? So you're saying possibly SummerSlam? You think? Sure. Okay. Yeah, I mean, AFC Cincinnati will kick his ass. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they go ahead and bring him in. I do think there is a very good possibility just because they wanted him a couple years ago, and he is done now and has no restrictions on him other than how much he's going to want to get paid. But again, WWE has fuck money now. Yeah. So they got that $1 billion deal. They don't give a shit. Yeah, apparently not. Vince is going to walk into his office with one of those fucking guns they take to the stripper clubs and just start shooting hundreds at him. There you go. We need you, Gronk. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
buddy.
seriously, he's just gonna. It'll be. I just. I don't know. I hope they bring him in. I hope he's good.
I
I
have no
mean,
hope for anything. I don't know. Whatever.
well, no, I don't know if he's
Doesn't
gonna.
matter. It doesn't
But
matter.
I hope he is because it's like you look at the past and like someone that a lot of people forget about is like fucking Kevin Green. Remember him?
Ah, yes, I
Kevin
do.
Green was actually really good for like almost no training.
He could have been. Could have been. Top
So
notch contender.
hopefully
He
hopefully
put
Gronk.
Baron Mondo McNichol.
Yeah,
McNichol.
that's
Yeah.
the funny thing is Mondo was working full time, was with the Horsemen, and Kevin Green was a better worker than him.
He
And
really
like
was.
worked like what 5 or 6 matches.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, both Hall of Famers, I suppose, but Green's a better sack master, if you will. So, good times.
That's right. Well, Steve Cook, I do want to thank you for joining me for a second week in a row.
I thank you for having me, quite frankly. But you know what I gotta say? I did a column for Chairshot.com about the favorite wrestling tournaments of all time. What's your favorite wrestling tournament of all time?
We talked about that already.
Did we?
Yeah. I said it's one of the G1s from the last couple of years.
One of the G1s in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm kind of undecided because there was like 2000, I think it was 14, was like that was like the first year I really covered it heavily. And
Which year? Okay, which one was the one with Styles versus Suzuki?
I think that was 2014. Yeah,
that's the greatest fucking match. I love that fucking match.
Oh, it's so good. That was also the that was the tournament that AJ was fucking having like 4-star matches with everybody, including Lance Archer.
That was the greatest match. That is the greatest tournament right there. I'll put that over right there because that match with Styles Suzuki is pretty much Suzuki trying to like prove Styles. Like he's like, yeah, slap him over, slap him, and that's how AJ put himself over. It's like I'm the fucking man, right?
Yeah, that was really, really good. And that's the thing. Is like there are still some people that look back on AJ's New Japan run like, well, I don't think he was that great during. And I'm like, what the fuck were you watching?
Exactly, because that was the match. That was the match right there where Suzuki was like, okay, prove yourself, and AJ proved himself right there. And that's like, fucking fantastic.
I always laugh when people say he didn't have that great a New Japan run, when Tanahashi has repeatedly said when asked that he thinks that AJ is one of his greatest opponents and one of the best people he's ever worked.
Yeah.
And if the Ace is putting that kind of praise on you, I mean,
damn right. But that was one of the things right there. That was that Styles versus Suzuki match. Oh.
Yeah. And not to like sound like I was totally dogging on Lance Archer, but that was a time to where Lance Archer was just a tag dude and he wasn't known for having quality singles matches. And he went in with a hurt ankle. Yeah. And him and AJ put on a great match. And then he had a great match this year with Will Ospreay in the New Japan Cup too.
Oh boy.
It was really good just because they played the size difference extremely smartly. Mm. It made sense and everything. And Archer looked like a beast when he needed to. Mm-hmm. And just really good stuff. Ospreay's selling was great. And good stuff. But it's I like a lot of the Japan tournament stuff. The G1s, I get amped up for the G1. It's a fucking grind and a half. A lot of early mornings and everything, but I enjoy the shit out of it because I know I'm in for about a month of great wrestling.
There you go.
So, but Steve Cook, we will talk again soon. I want to thank everybody for listening. Remember, we are available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and follow us. Leave us a review, which we would really appreciate as we try to help the shows grow. And until next time, I'm Larry Csonka, and Steve Cook is the guest today, and he's checking out to probably go right about Kurt Angle's greatest WrestleMania match.